It is the Anfield Wrap, Talking Reds Live. Neil Atkinson here, Craig Hannan there. Talking about, the first thing I want to talk about, Craig, is during this season, there are certain things that are going to happen, okay? One of them is Liverpool players playing for Liverpool or for their country are going to get tackled and be in a bit of pain. That's going to happen. There's nothing we can do about it. That is going to happen. And the other thing that's going to happen is every now and again, someone's going to get a bit of an injury. And that might happen on international duty and then they might be sent home, as is in the case of Harvey Elliott. And then they'll be assessed. And I think we've become so conditioned because last season it was beyond bad luck. It was like the worst thing it could ever be. And listen, maybe it could happen again. But I think we're just going to have to roll with the punches that sometimes a Liverpool player is going to go, oh, my ankle hurts, and then go, but it's all right, because I'm a footy player and I'm used to it.
I know. I do sort of understand. I think we've all got this PTSD of, anytime anything, that Harvey Elliott news where he's got a niggle and he's been sent back as a precaution, you're reading that and immediately you think of, Van Dijk, Matip, Gomez, Nat Phillips, it all sort of comes back to you in one. And it is going to happen. Look, I sort of said to you before that we put the camera on that if Liverpool come out of this international break with Harvey Elliott having been sent home before he played football with a small niggle just as a precaution, I'd have taken that before a ball was kicked. Absolutely.
We've got tonight to get through.
Yeah.
But apart from that, we've managed to deal with a military coup. That's great. It looks like, I would have thought if the Brazil heavy treatment was coming for FIFA, I thought we might know by now. I think if we get through today on that sound, there's a few playing tonight possibly for England. So we've dealt with a military coup with what is effectively
up the Reds, by the way,
far-right Brazilian government acting the fucking goat. And on top of that, Virgil's had a couple of kicks, but he's all right.
That picture, the picture that people are throwing around social media, and it's him holding his ankle, and he's got this face on him. I hadn't seen any football last night, so I didn't know anything that was happening. Gone on Twitter this morning, saw that, and I'm like, and then he's fine. The big man's tweeted. He said all is fine. He's excited to play for the Reds again.
He can't wait to get back and play for the Reds. That match finished. He was like, when the fuck do we kick off against Leeds? This is fine.
You cannot
walk on this.
He wants to play them all. Do you think he plays them all the next three, or do you think he gets a little rest against?
I think he plays all of the next three. He doesn't play Norwich, and then they'll assess for Porto away. I think he might have to. If you look at the Champions League qualifiers, it wouldn't. They might get funky with Palace at home. So I reckon Jurgen Klopp's big wall plan, which I'm sure he's got, we've all got one on a spreadsheet or something, where he's planned it out. What I think is going to happen here is Jurgen's going to have gone, him and Pep have had a chat where they've seen the fixtures and they've said, maybe Virgil doesn't play Palace. Yeah. And then on the Thursday or Friday before Palace, they're going, Virgil's playing, isn't he? Yeah, definitely. Cross that off. Virgil's back in. Yeah. That's what. So I think they are going to have to find one or two where they're able to say, you know what, the big man not necessarily this one, but I think because Jurgen is risk averse and because the big man is the big man, then I think it becomes it's not like he's going to say I'd quite like to miss one out. He's going to be like, you are picking me, Jurgen.
I've missed loads last season. At some stage we're going to have to look to remove that little safety blanket that we've got, but you know what, Gomez and Kanate on the bench, not bad, is it?
I think what they might, I think Matip will miss either Milan or he'll miss Palace.
Well, he doesn't do 3 in a week, does he, Matip?
No, so he'll miss one or the other, Milan or Palace. I think he'll definitely play Leeds, but he'll miss Milan or Palace. And then from there, it might be that Virgil definitely misses Norwich in the League Cup. And as I say, he might just they might look at Porto before City and maybe go, we would like Virgil absolutely tip-top. The other thing, of course, you can do is substitute him. I just don't know what that looks like.
No, it's weird, isn't it? I'd have to be 5-0 up for that to feel all right.
Oh, and maybe 8 pints deep. Do you know what I mean? I need
3-0 and 8 pints, I reckon.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. Get him off.
There's no messing about this Sunday, by the way. It is the big one, isn't it? It's huge.
Oh, God, I can't get it out of my head.
I know.
It is the big one in that if they win this, and then it's Palace and Brentford, and I'm not being complacent, they'll have to graft. But if they win this, then it's Palace and Brentford, and then it's City. Yeah. You're just left going, if they go to Leeds and get all 3 points. The other thing about going to Leeds and getting all 3 points is that last season, Norwich were the champions. Yeah. And 18th place was Fulham. So if we say that they're the strongest of the teams that come up, and we can discuss that, but if we say they're the strongest of the teams come up, it goes Norwich, the other fucking two, I can't remember, Brentford, and there's one of them, Watford. So we drew at Fulham. So we went to Norwich and won, so that's 2 points better off. Yeah. We've had Burnley at home. who beat us last season. We're 3 points better off.
It's so bad, by the way, those film results. I'm just thinking about them. You've reminded me.
Chelsea at home, they beat us last season. We've drawn this season. That's 6 points better off.
Yeah,
if we go to Leeds and win, we drew there last season, that's 8 points better off. Ooh. Already.
Keep doing this. You're making me feel good.
Keep the maths going all the way through, and then finally the end of the run is that Manchester City game who beat us last season at Anfield. So if we were to do them, we find ourselves 11 points better off if we then win the two in the middle. 11 points better off on last season. We were already at 80. We pissed this. It's just maths, isn't it?
Your spreadsheet's telling us we've won the league in September.
It's just maths. It's just adding up ones and threes.
Do you know what? Like all of that on top of the fact that like Leeds as a name, Leeds as a name sort of feels. I mean, it just reminds me of watching. From a living room when I was 10, 11, and watching like Viduka score 4 and watching Heskey score late on, but always seeing that end. You know what I mean? The end always looked brilliant when Liverpool scored, didn't it?
It will be incredible. I think Leeds will be. It'll feel great. It'll feel like
feels like a big game.
It is a big game. One, it's a big away. Two, I think obviously Norwich was the first away back, and everyone was into it. But Leeds is, as you say, it's not dissimilar, I suspect, to the way a lot of other teams apart from us feel about going to Goodison. Where you go into Everton, you go into Goodison, it's a thing, but they are still a mid-table team. Now for us, we know it's a different challenge for all those reasons, and Leeds they want to be, for them, it's their first big home. So for them, it's going to be absolutely massive. I'm expecting Ellen Road to be bouncing, absolutely bouncing. We're going to talk more about the big man after this. There's a little clip here from Bedding In, which we did last week on the roof of Matto. Thank you very much to them. Here's Bedding In. It's one of our subscriber shows.
I'm probably normally similar to Rob in that I want the easiest of draws, but I was made up with the draw. I was absolutely delighted with it. It felt like proper football matches, and I think the AC Milan thing definitely, because again we haven't played them, so that felt significant. It felt big, and they're a proper football team. Yeah, you can have a little chat about Atletico Madrid, maybe not wanting them, but it is easy to forget we absolutely battered them last time. I don't know if we go out, but if the main man's in goal, that result is totally different. And Porto, I've jinxed it. I know, we'll leave that. Right, we edit it out. I know. And the Porto one, I mean, that's a team where, they've got a standing in European football, and they've won it not too distant past under Mourinho, but you'd expect to go beat them home and away. And I think I think there's something in it where a lot of this is, you look at it on paper and you think that is really tough, but then when you think about where Milan are as a team now, I think Atletico is a difficult one, I accept that. But I think Milan and Porto, I think we can go to both of those teams and beat them on their own patch and then take them apart at Anfield.
Can I just say, AC finished ahead of Juventus last season, right? They finished second, so they're not
got a lot of good young players.
They're not quite the shite we've become accustomed to thinking they are. So they're not shite. In that sense, you could convince yourself they're not shite. Porto knocked Juventus out last season and looked better than when we played them. Going into the draw, I looked at the bookies' odds, because that's the only way you can work out who's better out of AC Milan or fucking Leipzig, for example. It's the only way you get an insight into the actual thing beyond your preconceptions about their status or profile. And we actually get, those teams are quite hard teams in the betting thing. They just genuinely are. All teams are slightly better versions of themselves than we're used to. Atletico are better than we're used to because they're champions. AC are better because they usually finish 5th or 6th and they were 2nd. Porto, well, they were better in the European Cup last season, so they're better. So they're a little bit better all of them, so we shouldn't be blasé about this.
Tremendous stuff. Doesn't that look brilliant, by the way? The shot there. I mean, that's by the way, how often do you see me come to work in shorts? That's what the weather's like today.
Wow! I didn't even notice.
Doesn't happen,
I usually don't look down because I usually know what's going to be there.
Yeah, get on these bad boys as well.
Oh, lovely.
Aren't they tremendous? Absolutely. They're a bit mucky because I've only ever worn them about 3 times, but every single time I've ended up going out dancing. So, you never know for tonight, to be honest with you. So they're a little bit mucky than I'd like, but absolutely tremendous, cracking pair of Tigers.
Brilliant. I hope Tigers are paying you for this.
Absolutely not. No. Nor a Liverpool tourist board paying us for that.
I know, but it's incredible. That shot of Ian and Rob, it looked like New York there. It looked incredible. I love it. Yeah. It's one of my favourite things, actually, about the video product at the moment. It's just them going out and about in Liverpool and finding incredible spots that you've not seen filming done from.
No, you've not seen that angle before. There's some talk that Ash O'Rourke is going to end up being drafted in to Silent Witness, which is getting shot on the Liverpudlian streets as we speak. They were in St Nicholas's churchyard this morning, and I had a van turn round in front of me before that, and something else had blocked me path. And as I walked towards the chute, there was a fella going no, and I went, for fuck's sake! And then I thought, the amount of places in this city...
Silent Witness!
Yeah, the amount of places in this city you've shot stuff, Neil, and got in people's way, you absolute bellend. So let's do a little thing here. I want to talk about Virgil because he was great last night. They murdered Turkey. Now Turkey got to the Euros, but they got battered by everybody. So you've got to be crystal clear. But there is a little thing where ultimately Van Dijk, he turns up. I'll just do the quick stats. 95% of the passes, 12 long passes, 84 out of 88 passes in total, 94 touches of the ball. No one gets past him. For me, again, the international break thing is, you don't want your players to go off on international break. That's another 90. In all seriousness, under Virgil's belt, that's another 90. It's a Tuesday night 90. We're playing again on Sunday. He can come back. He'll be registering back with Liverpool today, I'm sure. Yeah. Settling himself in. And Ferdinand did a thing, I think, with an MEN podcast, Rio, and he's waxed lyrical hugely about Van Dijk. He's trying to wax lyrical about Varane and say the difference he expects Varane to have for United, but he just ends up talking about how good he thinks Van Dijk is. And this
happens to the best of us, Neil.
Well, so my Van Dijk position remains, however good Varane is, and listen, Varane and Ramos won all sorts. For me, the best centre-half in the world is Virgil van Dijk.
Absolutely.
There's a shitload of room, and then there's some other lads.
Yeah.
Of which, in this league at the minute, I would argue 2 of ours at the very least, and we hope Konate are in that conversation. But it is, for me, it's as simple as Virgil van Dijk number 1, numbers 2 to 14 blank, and then everyone else is competing to be the 15th best centre-half, because that's how much Virgil's number 1 by.
Spot on, I think. And I think there's been, from sort of sections of different fan bases, there's been a bit of a hope that Virgil van Dijk comes back. You've seen it in the pre-season game where he comes back and he sort of gets turned a little bit, and it's within 5 minutes that he's come in, and it's a pre-season, so it doesn't fucking matter. And there was a clamour to go, look, Van Dijk's back, and this is the version of Van Dijk you're getting back. And since he's been back in, he's been brilliant, hasn't he? And I think that I actually don't mind the September international break for this reason. Not so much Virgil van Dijk, but although it's great that he gets a 90 in his legs, more confidence, controls the game and everything. But I was hoping the likes of Thiago might get some games, and a few other players throughout the squad. Obviously, Jota gets a goal as well the other night, which is great. But look, I agree. I think you saw Varane against Wolves, and I think he gets an assist weirdly, but I wasn't watching him and thinking this is a game-changing signing for United. There's been talk over the past couple of years around City centre-backs, Laporte being as good, and then he drops off, Diaz being as good, and then you sort of see that be a bit, we're a bit uncertain around him as well.
I think Diaz looks great until he's actually got to do some proper centre-half, and without that, I don't mean the goal-saving challenges. I think he's good at that. I think when people play on him a little bit, he looks a bit like, hello, I'm not used to people being this close to me. I thought he actually got away with murder in that Champions League final. Everyone focused on what happened to a lot of other cities' players. It's Diaz who gets dragged right out of position, and then from there everyone's saying Zinchenko should be on the cover, and there's definitely truth in that. But it is this idea of, hang on, how's Diaz organised this and how's all this gone? And I think there's been a few times, again playing for Portugal, when it's felt like, and this is the key thing, I think, thinking about City, I think this is the line about City is if you can get at them. I think teams can get at us because we play on much more of an edge at times, but then we've got Virgil and we've got Gomez, or we've got Matip, or we've got Konate, but we've got Virgil, and that's why he's so important.
Yeah, and even this idea of Liverpool being able to sort of attack from the back and defend from the front in sort of totality now, you know what I mean? That last season we weren't able to do that with the mixing and matching and the bringing players in that weren't suited to this and all. You see Virgil come back and suddenly he's spraying balls here, there, and everywhere, and it's glorious. Just
very quick, interesting comment from James Walmsley. If they scrap the qualifying for major teams, would you be happy with a World Cup every 2 years? James, I think this is FIFA waging more on the confederations, to be honest with you, and for me, overstepping the remit, and we're back into this situation where I do not want the regulator also running a competition, and especially one that happens every 2 years. I think it's dangerous. I think it's a problem. I think we are about to come to blows with FIFA, I think, either this international break or the next international break around what you can and can't do around COVID and where FIFA feel their mandate is. They're going to try and protect their competition, and they're qualifying for their competition, which they're in their rights to do. But the issue is they are the competition and the regulator at the same time, and that'll create us an issue. So giving them more power and more competition is something I'm strongly against and would be against in general.
And in a very simple way of looking at it as well, I want a World Cup every 4 years because it's exciting, because you haven't had it for 4 years. I don't want it every 2.
And you support, you know, and I'm not, this isn't me being crass, you support a non-major nation, it's worth saying. So for you, you know, you've gone and followed Northern Ireland at tournaments, and you watch them through qualifying. You want to see them play in the major nations in qualifying, because then when you get results, which has happened, I hasten to add, especially at home, then that line, they become massive games for Northern Ireland, and that's the thing.
Exactly, yeah. Massive moments, massive experiences, and you can't sort of cut off those experiences and those nights from football fans because they come from a small country like ours. Yeah, I agree.
So there's that on there as well. What do you think of the kit?
I'm all right with it. Yellow, I like yellow as
I love
as
yellow.
an idea. I like the fact that the Nike kits, the third ones, have like the cool old style Nike logo.
Do they?
Yeah, it's cool. I'm not sure about the checkered. I see what they're doing with the flag. I'm sort of just. I'm all right with it. Like, I don't care. It'll look brilliant in the footballers.
I can't wait to see the footballers in yellow.
Yeah.
Yellow's. There's lots of great Liverpool goals I can think of in yellow, and I think that's sort of what's in the back of my mind. The clips of Ian Rush getting a hat-trick at Villa Park on ice.
Yeah. And that's quite obviously where they've taken it from. They've looked at this and gone, right, what will the traditionalists want? And here we'll give them a yellow and red kit, and still loads are sort of kicking off about it. I'm just not overly bothered either way.
Yeah, no, as I say, I'm bang into that.
I like the cream one, by the way. The is it Ecru or whatever? Ecru.
Yeah.
I like the idea just because I had the old one in, was it 99, 98? That one as a kid. Yeah.
John McLean, I've been pissed off since deadline day, he says here, but ready to support the boys now for the rest of the season. Well, firstly, John, that's very kind of you. But also, secondly, Craig, this is now the. It starts here for me, you know, like, I would have loved to listen, don't get me wrong, 3 points against Chelsea, and I'm fucking telling you it started against Chelsea. But it starts here for me. This is the real deal now. Liverpool sit 2 points behind Tottenham at the top of the table. There's only 3 games played. There is the opportunity to kick on and get stuck in. It's a lovely run of games. We don't like the Norwich League Cup game for a variety of reasons, don't get me wrong. But apart from that, it's a lovely run of games. This is the time to really get stuck in and be like John.
Absolutely. Look, I was frustrated. I was a bit pissed off the day after deadline day when we did Talking Reds, but I feel like I got it out of my system, and the moment it had closed, that was it done for me. Look, we can look at the end of the season and decide whether we should and we shouldn't have done this, that, and whatever. I did the stadium tour last weekend with my family, and there's nothing like a stadium tour to remind you what you've already got, rather than worrying about what you don't have yet. Walking around and my mum's like getting pictures with Virgil's shirt and go, "Can I get one with Sadio's shirt?" And I'm like, "It's just a shirt, you can do whatever you want, mum." But seeing all the images of everything that this team have done and won, and the experiences they've given us, it was a lovely reminder that I was like, why do I need new fellas? Do you know what I mean? And look, I'd love another attacker. I'd love another option up there. I'd love another midfielder. We've all said this. But until 1st of January, we can't do much about that now. We can just support the lads and get excited about every single football match, because there's loads of big ones coming.
There is loads of big ones coming. Subscribe to the Anfield Wrap for everything you need on those big matches. I'm about to go and do the report about Leeds United with StatsBomb's service in a minute or two from there as well. We also will have team talk after the manager's press conference Friday show. Tour Live will be getting done tomorrow as well. All looking ahead to that game for Liverpool. On the video, there'll be a preview. We've gone to Leeds to shoot this one. That's already all done and dusted. It will not look, and I want to be crystal clear, anywhere near as nice as Liverpool does. It will look brutal from start to finish, but that is indeed the Leeds United way. We'll be doing the Friday night on Friday. It is everything you need building up to that massive game against Leeds United. Expect a lot of very cool social as well around Leeds United. And
we're going, aren't we?
On Monday, we are going. We're going
so excited.
It is going to be absolutely magical stuff. Monday, after the Reds have got that very, very valuable 3 points, everything you need there as well. Subscribe to the Anfield Wrap, download the app on Google Store or Apple Store. All of that's in there. Subscribe to theanfieldwrap.com/subscribe. Neil Atkinson, Craig Hannan, Virgil van Dijk getting into these.